The Second Siege of Taunton, 1645. This is a musket ball. It is a kind of bullet that was used in guns 400 years ago. It is round and made of lead. These are musket balls that have been found at an old battlefield near Taunton in Somerset. Can you see that these musket balls are not round? That is because they have been shot from guns in the fighting. The round musket balls have been squashed into all kinds of shapes as they hit things. King Charles I and his Parliament were fighting each other. It was about who ran the country, the king or Parliament. King Charles believed that God had made him king, so everyone should do exactly what he said. Parliament believed that the people who paid the taxes should get a say in how their money was spent, especially when the king wanted to do silly things, like King Charles did. Taunton was on the side of Parliament. Their man in charge was Robert Blake from Bridgewater. Taunton did not have a wall around it, so Robert Blake had trenches and earth ramparts dug all around the town. Taunton Castle was in one corner, and forts made of earth were built around the town's defences. On the 11th of March 1645, the soldiers of the king arrived at Taunton and surrounded the town. The Second Siege of Taunton had begun. The king's soldiers were led by Lord Goring. He sent a message to Robert Blake telling him to surrender the town or face fire and sword. Robert Blake said that his men were not scared and would fight to the end. More royalist soldiers arrived with cannons, and they dug trenches right around the town to shoot from and make sure no one could get in or out of the town. Sir Richard Grenville led an attack on Wellington House, but he was seriously wounded, and his men were beaten back. As the days went by, food in the town of Taunton started running out. There is a story that in the whole of Taunton there was now only one pig left to eat. The defenders took their last pig around the town ramparts so that the attackers would hear it squealing and think that the people in Taunton still had lots of pigs to eat. On the 28th of April 1645, help was on its way. Parliament ordered the new model army to set out and relieve the siege of Taunton. On the 6th of May, knowing help for Taunton was on its way, the Royalists increased their attacks. Cannons at the bottom of the hill at Eastreach bombarded the defences, and then the earthen fort there was stormed and captured. The attackers were forced back by musket shots, stones, and boiling water. That evening, at about 7 o'clock, a strong force of Royalist soldiers and cavalry attacked again, and this time they broke into the town. Defenders were in every house, shooting at the attackers. The attackers tried to set fire to the houses, but the wind was blowing the wrong way, and the flames went out. The next day was the 9th of May. The Royalist soldiers fought their way through the town of Taunton, house by house, until all the defenders had left were Taunton Castle, St. Mary Magdalene Church, and 2 other strongpoints. By now, the eastern part of Taunton had been destroyed in the fighting. On Sunday, the 10th of May, the attackers demanded that Taunton should surrender. Robert Blake replied that he still had 4 good pairs of boots, and he would eat 3 of them before he yielded. By now, the first soldiers of the new model army had reached Pitminster and marched on to Orchard Portman, just 2 miles out from Taunton. The attackers gave up and retreated to Bridgewater. People were in the Sunday service at St. James's Church when some burst in, shouting, "Deliverance!" The minister asked that everyone should stop to say thank you to God before leaving to see for themselves. On Monday the 11th of May, Colonel Weldon entered Taunton with the soldiers of the new model army. He said that he found a sad spectacle of a flourishing town almost ruined by war, and the people nigh famished for want of food. 2/3 of the town of Taunton had been destroyed in the fighting. That is why today there are so few houses left in Taunton that were built before the year of 1645.